Chosen one, this message didn't reach you by accident. This is divine timing. You've been feeling it. Something inside you has shifted. The old version of you no longer fits. You don't think the same, move the same, or tolerate what you used to. You've grown through storms that were meant to break you, and now you walk with a quiet power that can't be faked. The truth is, you're not who you used to be, and that deeply unsettles the people who never expected you to evolve. It's not that you've done anything wrong, it's that you've done something rare. You outgrew the boxes they put you in. You healed in places they were afraid to look. You walked through fire and came out with clarity in your eyes. While they remained in cycles, you broke yours. And now, without saying a word, your presence speaks volumes. This is your confirmation. What you're sensing is real. They see the difference. They feel the distance. And for some, it shakes something in them they'd rather keep buried. But you didn't change to scare them. You changed to save yourself. Let's break it down. But before we go any further, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because this isn't just a video, it's a spiritual transmission meant for the chosen ones. If your spirit resonates with this truth, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't just digits, it's divine confirmation that you've stepped into a new frequency, a higher identity, a version of you that no longer fits where you used to belong. You're not who you used to be. And this message will reveal exactly why that unsettles people who once claimed to know you. Not everyone will finish this message, only the truly chosen will feel it all the way through. And those who stay, you'll gain clarity, awaken deeper awareness, and walk away with spiritual keys hidden in every line. This isn't just something to hear once and forget. It's a living truth. The more you revisit it, the more it will unlock. Listen as often as your soul calls you, because with every play, you'll uncover a new layer of wisdom and a deeper understanding of who you truly are now. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. You were once easy to manipulate. Let's be honest, chosen one. You weren't always this clear, this sharp, this rooted. There was a time when you moved through life with your heart in your hands and your soul on your sleeve. You believed the best in people because you had never learned how to expect the worst. You trusted by default, loved without hesitation, and gave people the benefit of the doubt even when their actions screamed otherwise. You excused disrespect, explained away toxicity, and clung to relationships out of history instead of harmony. You saw potential in people who had no intention of growing. You believed apologies without changed behavior. You stayed in situations long after your spirit told you to leave, thinking love could fix what was broken. You thought if you just loved harder, forgave more, or showed up more consistently, they'd finally see your worth. But the truth is, your light made them comfortable as long as it stayed dim. As long as you didn't question things. As long as you stayed predictable, silent, and easily influenced. They loved you when you didn't know your worth, because your uncertainty gave them control. You were easy to guilt, easy to shame, easy to twist around their finger with just a few words. You confused being needed with being respected. You mistook being used for being valued. You thought saying yes to everything made you loyal. But all it really did was make you tired, confused, and disconnected from yourself. But that version of you no longer exists. Something inside you broke, but not in a destructive way. It broke open. It cracked through the illusions and let the truth pour in. You stopped romanticizing struggle. You stopped begging to be seen by people who were committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped trying to prove your worth to those who were only interested in keeping you small. You stopped handing over your power in exchange for temporary approval. Your yes became sacred. Your no became powerful. And your silence became a language all its own. Now they don't know how to handle you. You don't play the same role in their script anymore. You don't feed their ego. You don't dance around their dysfunction. You don't explain yourself 10 times just to be heard once. You don't stay where you're tolerated just to avoid being alone. Because now you know peace is better than people-pleasing. Alignment is better than attachment. And protecting your energy is more important than preserving their comfort. They're not angry because you did something to them. They're shaken because you finally did something for yourself. And that scares them because you're no longer predictable. You're no longer easily manipulated. You no longer shrink in rooms where you used to stay silent. You no longer smile to keep the peace when your spirit is unsettled. You no longer absorb other people's chaos just to make them feel safe. You've stepped into your truth. And your truth doesn't bend for anyone. You were once easy to manipulate. But now, you've become someone they can't control, can't guilt, and can't figure out. And that makes you dangerous to every system, every person, and every illusion that relied on your blindness to survive. You see now, and because you see, you're free. Chapter 2. You've outgrown the box they put you in. People love to label you because labels keep them comfortable. Labels make life simple. Once they think they know who you are, they can control the narrative. They can assign you a role, define your worth, and place limits on your potential, all while never having to look beyond their own assumptions. It's not about who you truly are, it's about who they've decided you're allowed to be. Because if they can keep you in a box, they don't have to face the discomfort of your transformation. But chosen one, you've outgrown the box they put you in. They remember who you were when you didn't know your power, when you downplayed your voice, when you ignored your intuition, when you allowed your fear of disappointing others to keep you from stepping into your truth. They remember the version of you that didn't question anything, the one who gave without receiving, the one who tolerated mediocrity in the name of loyalty, and they expect you to stay there, frozen in time, so they can continue operating in control. But you don't fit there anymore. You've expanded, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Your thinking is different. Your energy is elevated. Your discernment is sharp. You walk differently now, not with arrogance, but with alignment. You speak with more authority. You say no with clarity. You no longer explain yourself just to soothe someone's discomfort. You've learned that self-respect sometimes looks like silence, that peace is often found in walking away. That growth will cost you people who only knew how to love the unhealed version of you. And instead of celebrating your evolution, some people feel offended by it. Why? Because your growth exposes their stagnation. Your healing forces them to face the pain they've been suppressing. Your elevation makes their complacency harder to justify. Your boundaries highlight their lack of discipline. Your light makes them painfully aware of the shadows they refuse to deal with. You didn't change to hurt them. You changed to heal yourself. But healing is disruptive to anyone still invested in dysfunction. You didn't betray them. You just stopped betraying yourself. And that simple shift, choosing truth over approval, growth over guilt, is what broke the box wide open. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to play a supporting role in a life you were born to lead. They may resent it. They may try to downplay it. They may say you've changed like it's a bad thing. But that's the point. You have changed, and you should never feel guilty for that. So now, They scramble to recategorize you. They try to figure you out. They try to label the new you using old language, but it doesn't work. Because your evolution doesn't fit their narrative. You don't shrink back to make them comfortable. You don't dull your shine to protect their insecurities. You don't belong in their box anymore. Because boxes are for storage, and you're built for movement. You've outgrown who they thought you were. And the version of you they created in their mind no longer exists. Now, you're living in truth, not their expectations. And that truth will always make the insecure uncomfortable. Chapter 3. You reflect what they're not willing to become. There's something deeply unsettling about being in the presence of someone who has done the inner work. Someone who has sat with their pain, processed their trauma, confronted their demons, and decided not to let their past define them. Someone who chose growth over comfort, healing over hiding, and transformation over pretending. And chosen one. That someone is you. You don't have to say a word. Your very presence speaks. When people encounter your energy now, they feel it before they even understand it. It's not just your words, it's your frequency. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you no longer tolerate the things you used to beg for, the way your silence feels louder than their noise. Your growth became a mirror, and what it reflected made some people deeply uncomfortable. Because in that reflection, they saw everything they've been avoiding: unhealed wounds, suppressed emotions, and the lies they've been telling themselves just to get by. That's why certain people you once laughed with, struggled with, or even loved, suddenly went silent. It wasn't random, it was spiritual, it was energetic. They didn't distance themselves because you did something wrong. They distanced themselves because your light became too bright for the shadows they still live in. Your presence highlighted their procrastination. Your self-respect exposed their self-abandonment. Your peace made their chaos louder. You didn't call them out, but your evolution did. And here's the hard truth. Not everyone wants to heal. Healing takes work. It takes accountability. It requires peeling back the layers of denial and being brutally honest with yourself. And not everyone is ready to go there. So rather than rise to meet your new standard, they retreat. Rather than transform, they criticize. Rather than ask how you did it, they judge you for doing it. Because if they can find a flaw in you, they don't have to look at the emptiness in themselves. They might say you've changed, that you're too good now, that you've forgotten where you came from. But the truth is, they just can't relate to the healed version of you. The old version was familiar. The new version is foreign. And what they can't label, they reject. What they don't understand, they mock. Not because you're wrong, but because they're afraid of what they'd have to face in order to walk the same path. You've become a living reminder of what's possible when someone does the work. You're not better than them, but you are braver. You had the courage to break generational patterns, to sit in silence with your wounds, to rise from places that were meant to break you. And while others chose comfort, you chose freedom. While they stayed numb, you chose to feel. While they repeated cycles, you chose to break them. And now, your life is the result of that decision. So if people fall away, let them. If your circle gets smaller, don't panic, because your path requires alignment, not attachment. The ones who are meant to grow with you will. The ones who feel convicted, rather than inspired, were never meant to go the distance. You didn't lose them. You leveled up. And when you become the reflection of what others are not yet ready to become, don't dim your light. Let it shine unapologetically. Because your light might disrupt some, but it also guides others. Keep walking. Chapter 4. You don't entertain the same conversations anymore. Remember the days when gossip was your favorite pastime, when complaining about everything felt like a form of therapy, a way to release tension, when chaos was just background noise, so normal that you didn't even notice how it was wearing you down. You laughed at drama, maybe even thrived on it in some ways, because it distracted you from the real work you needed to do within yourself. But something inside you changed. You leveled up. Now those same conversations feel hollow, empty echoes of a past version of yourself. Small talk, once a social balm, now feels meaningless, like repeating the same words without depth or intention. Drama, once entertaining, or at least familiar, now drains your energy faster than you can replenish it. And surface-level people, they bore you. Your spirit craves more: substance, clarity, truth, and peace. You're no longer interested in conversations that circle around the same shallow topics or that revolve around complaining, jealousy, or distraction. Your soul demands alignment with your purpose. This shift is profound. It's not just about what you talk about. It's about who you are becoming. You've grown into someone who values time like the precious resource it is. You protect your energy fiercely because you know it fuels your creativity, your vision, and your happiness. When you engage in meaningless chatter or drama, it feels like throwing gasoline on a fire you've already put out inside yourself. It's exhausting. Because of this, you don't have time or desire for conversations that don't elevate you, inspire you, or push you forward. You find yourself steering clear of people who thrive on negativity or who pull you back into old patterns of thinking. You surround yourself with those who encourage growth, who speak with intention, and who share your hunger for something greater. And in this process, some people around you begin to feel rejected. They sense the distance growing, and they don't understand that it's not about them. It's about the new boundaries you've set for your mind, your heart, and your spirit. They might accuse you of acting superior or turning cold, but the truth is far simpler. You've come to know your worth. You respect your time, your energy, and your mental space enough not to waste them on conversations that serve no higher purpose. When you stop feeding into the same old cycles, the gossip, the complaints, the drama, the people who once benefited from your distraction take it personally. They might try to pull you back or make you feel guilty for changing, but that's not your burden to carry anymore. Your growth isn't a rejection of them. It's a declaration of self-love and self-respect. It's about choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and purpose over distraction. It's about honoring the divine within you by protecting what is sacred: your mind, your energy, and your soul's calling. You are no longer a participant in the noise. You are a creator of a new frequency, and that alone sets you apart. Chapter 5. You're walking in confidence, not codependency. There was a time, maybe not too long ago, when you craved validation like air, when being liked felt like survival, and you bent over backwards to keep everyone around you happy, even if it meant sacrificing your own peace. You twisted yourself into shapes you didn't recognize, trying to fit into molds that were never meant for you. You put others' opinions on a pedestal because their approval felt like the foundation of your worth. In those moments, you were codependent, relying on external voices to define your value, to soothe your fears, to calm your insecurities. But something shifted inside you. You started to realize that no one outside of you holds the ultimate truth about who you are. The power to affirm your worth lives within you, not in someone else's praise or judgment. You reclaimed your power by learning to validate yourself first. You looked inward and discovered a well of strength, clarity, and love that no outside force can touch. You began to speak to yourself with kindness and respect, trusting your own voice above the noise. That kind of confidence, true, unshakable confidence, is foreign to those still trapped in the need for constant attention. For people who survive on the approval of others, your self-assuredness can feel threatening. When you no longer seek their validation, when you refuse to be swayed by their silence, guilt trips, or disapproval, they realize they no longer hold power over you. The old levers they used to pull, manipulation, control, emotional games, simply don't work anymore, and that can make them feel powerless, confused, even resentful. But here's the truth: that's not your fault, and it's not your burden to carry. You're not operating from ego or arrogance. You're operating from clarity and self-awareness. Your confidence isn't about proving anyone wrong or showing off. It's about standing firmly in your truth, rooted in the deep knowing of who you are. You've built a solid foundation so strong that external opinions slide off without causing cracks. You don't chase approval anymore. You don't run after people or situations trying to feel worthy. Instead, you attract what aligns with your authentic self: people, opportunities, energy that resonate with your vibe. Your groundedness acts like a magnet, pulling in what's meant for you and gently letting go of what isn't. This shift changes everything. It transforms your relationships, your decisions, and how you move through the world. You walk with your head held high, not because you're ignoring your flaws or pretending to be perfect, but because you trust your journey and your growth. You're solid, grounded, unshakable, and with every step, you prove that true power lies not in dependency on others, but in the unwavering trust you have in yourself. Chapter 6. Your vibe disturbs their demons. Let's call it what it really is: the discomfort some people feel when you walk into a room. It's not about what you say or how you look. It's not a superficial clash of egos or opinions. No, it cuts deeper, much deeper. It's a spiritual vibration, a frequency you emit that unsettles the shadows lingering in their souls. You see, your energy hums on a wavelength that their inner demons cannot tolerate. It's like a beacon of light piercing through the thick fog they hide behind. When you enter their space, something unseen shifts. The air changes. The atmosphere tightens. It's not their ego bruised, it's their own hidden pain and fear being stirred, rattled, and exposed by your presence. Your healing journey is a mirror held up to their deepest wounds, wounds they've tried for years to bury beneath layers of denial, anger, and distraction. Your growth cracks open their carefully built walls, revealing the brokenness they refuse to acknowledge. Your truth casts shadows on their lies, and when the light hits, their masks crack and crumble. Those masks sewn together from fear, shame, and insecurity. And what follows? Panic, unease, frantic attempts to silence or push you away, because your authenticity threatens their fragile worlds. It threatens the narratives that keep them comfortable in their pain. But here's the cosmic irony. It's not your noise that bothers them most. It's the sacred silence between your words, the calm confidence, the quiet power that convicts them more than any accusation or confrontation ever could. That silence is a loud declaration. It says, without a single word, I am aligned, I am whole, I am free. And that truth reverberates like a storm in the dark corners of their souls. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't need to fight or explain. Your very existence, your presence, becomes a silent rebuke to their chaos and darkness. You've shed the chains of shame, resentment, and regret that once bound you. Those chains clatter to the ground behind you as you step forward in your purpose. But many around you still carry their burdens, and your light highlights those burdens in stark relief. Remember, darkness never needs to battle light. Light simply shows up, and darkness withers, retreats, fades away. And you, chosen one, are that radiant light. Your vibe, your energy, disturbs their demons because you are the living proof that transformation is possible, that healing is real, that authenticity is a weapon more powerful than any sword. Your alignment with your higher self makes you unstoppable. So when you feel the resistance, the sudden coldness, the sideways glances, their unease, it's not about you. It's about the old spirits they carry, the chains that no longer hold you, the fear of a light that will not be dimmed. Stand firm in your truth. Keep your spirit anchored. Your vibe isn't just a feeling, it's a force of nature. It shakes the foundations of darkness. It disturbs the demons that have haunted the spaces around you for far too long. Let your presence be a revolution. Let your silence roar like thunder. Because when light arrives, darkness has no choice but to fall. Chapter 7. You're not who you used to be, and that's a blessing. Here's the unshakable truth. You didn't change to impress anyone. You didn't evolve to fit into someone else's expectations or to win approval. No, your transformation was born out of necessity. You changed because you were tired of the pain that weighed you down, tired of the same destructive cycles that kept looping like a broken record, tired of shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for your greatness. So you chose growth. You did the inner work, the hard, grueling, sometimes lonely work that most people shy away from. You looked at your reflection and saw not just your scars, but the strength they birthed. You learned to say no when it was uncomfortable, even when every fiber of your being screamed to please, to avoid conflict, to stay small. You healed, even when distractions and numbness called louder. You stepped into the quiet moments of your soul and faced the darkness so it would no longer control you. Now, you walk differently. There's a new rhythm in your step, a confident, deliberate pace that says, I am here on my own terms. Your words carry weight. You speak with intention and clarity, no longer diluted by fear or doubt. Your movements, your decisions, your very presence are imbued with purpose. This new version of you radiates a power that some find unsettling, especially those who hoped you would stay predictable, small, and contained. But here's the truth you must never forget. You were never meant to stay in the cages others built for you. Do not shrink to make them comfortable. Do not mute your light so their eyes don't burn. Your evolution is a blessing, a beacon of possibility, not just for you, but for anyone who dares to watch and believe that transformation is possible. You are the living proof that real change can happen when you commit to yourself fully. And yes, this transformation will naturally create distance. Some people will struggle to recognize the new you. Some will feel threatened by your rise because it exposes their own stagnation or fears. Others might try to pull you back into old roles, old stories, old energies that no longer serve you. But remember this, the ones who can't handle your new self were never meant to travel with you to the heights you're destined to reach. This is your era, a time to embrace every facet of who you've become and to walk boldly in it. Let go of the weight of past versions of yourself that no longer fit. Honor the journey, the battles, the victories, and even the setbacks that shaped you. Every step has been a necessary stitch in the tapestry of your awakening. Stand tall, knowing you are a force of nature. Your growth is sacred, your rise inevitable. The world needs your evolved spirit, your wisdom born of experience, your courage forged in the fires of transformation. Keep growing, keep rising, keep glowing. This is your time to shine with a brilliance that cannot be dimmed. You're not who you used to be, and that is the greatest blessing of all.